Hello, crew. How is everybody? Hope you had an awesome weekend. Those of you that had Thanksgiving celebrations, I hope you had an awesome time. Let me know how you went. Did you have a good time? Did you go away? Or can anybody go away at the moment? I know we can't at the moment. We're still in lockdown. Life is a very strange place, I guess you could say. So today I'm going to share with you, I'm going to talk about a particular skill that if you're going to grow a team, if you haven't got a team already, or you've already got a team, a skill that you absolutely must have to gain the respect of your team. And even if you don't have a team, it's a skill that you need in life. And this is so, so, so important with dealing with other human beings. Now, as we go through life, we need to deal with other human beings. We don't run our lives or live life only on our own, not talking to anybody or communicating with anybody else. We deal with other people, whether that's online or with our families or with friends or colleagues or whatever it is. There's a certain skill, particularly when you're building a team of people in this industry, that you need. I would love to know what skills you think, and see if anyone can pick the particular skill I'm going to talk about today. What particular skills do you think, because there's more than one, but I'm just going to talk about one today, a particular skill that you think you might need when managing a team of people to gain the respect of the team, to lead a team, to, you know, be able to build a successful team. What are some of the skills that you guys think you need to be able to do that? I'd be interested to know what you think is in, the top of the priority list there, with some skills that you might need to learn if you haven't got these skills already. Okay, so share with me your thoughts around that. Those of you that have joined our free online crew video challenge, it's only a 7-day challenge, and those in a Australian time zone or similar time zone to Australia would be starting today. So some of you will be on day 1 of the online crew video challenge, the free 7-day challenge, and some of you will be starting tomorrow if you're in a different time zone. So enjoy it, embrace it, have fun with it. Those of you that are looking on the outside, please support those in this community that are participating in the 7-day challenge. We're going to have some fun over the next 7 days. If you're part of that and you've done day 1, let me know. Would love to know if anyone's actually physically done their day 1 video so far. Okay, so who is here? Let's say hello to a few people. We've got Gloria. How are you, Gloria? Did you have a good weekend? Hello, Megan. Good to see you on. We've got Olive as well. Hello, Cherie. It was a blessing. Oh, that's lovely to hear. Oops, where did I go? Hello, Beth. How are you? Yes, doing very well. Thank you. Cherie saying hello to everyone. Heather, how are you? Good to see you on. Posture. Posture is definitely an important skill to have. I do agree with that. So it's not the one I'm talking about today, but I definitely agree with that. Good to see you here, Cherie. Integrity. Another amazing skill to have, not the one I'm talking about today, but you definitely want to do everything that you do in this industry with integrity. There are circumstances in this industry that people don't act with integrity, and that's not something that you want to do for yourself. Hello, Facebook user. So if you're watching from my group, which is called Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners, you do need to click the StreamYard link for me to see who you are. Because you're watching from the group, we need to give permission for us to show your face outside the group, because I'm also broadcasting on my business page. So that's StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you will then I'll be able to see who you are. Oh, there are so many skills. Creating relationships, yes. Integrity, yes. Posture, yes. And so many more. So that's a good few there. So not quite sure who that is if you just click the StreamYard link. I don't have a team. Looking forward to this. So even if you don't have a team, this skill that I'm going to share with you today is something that you could benefit from with friends, family, communicating with just other human beings. Really important, particularly sort of family relationships and dynamics and things like that, because it's still a team of some sort. It's still a group of people that are important to you. Hi, Hero. How are you? Great to see you on. Hello, Alistair. How are you from Brisbane? How's the weather in Brisbane today? Hey, Crystal. Lovely to see you on. You just finished your day one. Awesome. So Hero's already done day one of the video challenge. Hi, Sarah. Lovely to see you on. Oh, Adita, you must have dropped off. So just click that link again so we can see who you are. Sometimes that happens with StreamYard. I know you've been here before, Adita. So I'm not sure really why that happens sometimes, but people do drop off and you just have to reconnect in through StreamYard. Empathy from Ellen. Empathy is a really good skill to have, so I do agree with that. But what I'm going to share with you today, and I want to explain this, so don't just hear what it is and then disappear. I actually want to share 4 elements of this particular thing that you really need to consider if you're going to grow a team. And just, if you have family or friends of any sort, this would be a good skill for you to build some muscle around, okay? And what I'm talking about today is emotional intelligence. Leaders, people that lead a team, lead a family, be a good friend, be a good colleague, at work, have emotional intelligence. Leaders in this industry that don't have emotional intelligence are not going to end up being respected by their team, because you can't be emotional as a leader. Would you agree with that? Do you have people that you work with that are really emotional and unproductive? Or do you have people around you that you really respect as mentors or leaders and they're really quite level-headed, which means they've got emotional intelligence? Now, I want you to look at this from your eyes, whether you've got a team or not. How do you move through life? How do you handle things for yourself? How do you project, to other people? How do you handle conflicts? How do you handle things that you don't like that other people do? How do you handle what a team member does that you don't like how they do it? It all comes down to emotional intelligence. So I want you to listen to the 4 elements of emotional intelligence and really consume this for yourself as a human being, as an individual, whether you're a leader or not, okay? This is really, really important. So the first thing, if I'm looking down, I've got my notes to make sure I don't muck up my order. Not really that there's a particular order, but the first thing that you need to consider is self-awareness of you and your emotional intelligence and how you carry on, how you communicate with people, how you talk to people, how you buy into conflict or you deflect it, how you deal with certain situations. Like, you can't be a good leader to other people unless you lead yourself, correct? Do you agree with that? So you can't expect people to step up to the plate and be awesome team members and, have an amazing emotional intelligence themselves if you don't have it for yourself. So you really need to evaluate your own self-awareness regarding your own emotional intelligence, and your best trigger for that is how you react. People with low emotional intelligence will react very quickly, and it won't necessarily be positively. Leaders with emotional intelligence don't react. If you find yourself that you're really reactive to things, you shoot off things, you say things that perhaps you shouldn't, then you need to work on your emotional intelligence. So really good leaders, even like the family dynamic with husband and kids and stuff like that, if you've got emotional intelligence, you'll be able to control situations better. You'll be able to calm situations. You'll be able to even potentially dictate certain results and outcomes if you've got that emotional intelligence. So how do you react? Do you know that you fire off? Do you know that you're triggered by things, by people? If you know that, then you need to work on your emotional intelligence. So self-awareness of yourself and how you react is absolutely critical. You just can't bring the best out in others unless you're the best version of yourself. So people that, sprout off, say things really quickly, or are really reactive to problems. Like, so let's say your company, because of COVID, is having shipping problems. And let's say that's me and my team, and I suddenly went, oh, this is crap, and blah, blah, we got to sort this out, and blah, 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 blah. And I reacted to problems like that, then I'm not being a good leader for my team. I can't react to things like that. You find solutions, you don't heighten problems. So it means I need to have a level of emotional intelligence and not be all or over the top with my emotions if I'm going to lead a really good team. Does that make sense? Okay, so my level of self-awareness, your level of self-awareness regarding your emotions, and most importantly, what do you get triggered by? What assumptions are you making? That's a huge one. If you assume certain things, or this person's doing this, or this person must be doing that, if you assume things and react to it, you have a very low level of emotional intelligence. So it might be something you need to work on. Okay. Number 2, you might have a high level of awareness, but secondly, self-management of those emotions. So maybe you can relate and, see triggers that are happening, but then what do you do about it? You might be triggered by something, but a good leader will actually hold back and breathe and not say a word and think before they speak. Have you ever shot out something out of your mouth and it's like, I really wish I didn't say that? Or you've shot off a message in Messenger and it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have reacted that way, or maybe I've overreacted. So self-management of your emotions as a leader or as a, just as a family dynamic is so, so important. It's even like dealing with children. If you yell at children, what do you get back? They generally yell back. If you deal with children in a way that says something like, do you think that was a really good choice? They're not going to yell back. They're probably going to say, well, probably not. So just managing your emotions will make a massive difference as how to other people react to you. Okay, really important. Leaders who lack management in their emotions are those ones that will react quickly. They'll be really responsive. They'll shoot off messages really quickly. They'll fire up about things. So that's not managing their emotions. So really, really good leaders of teams and of people around you, even if that's within your immediate family unit, you don't get triggered by your emotions. You think about things before you speak. Okay. Number 3. So number 1 was self-awareness of you managing your emotions. 2 is how you manage them. What do? Do you allow the triggers to get the better of you and you just shoot off things or say things or get wound up in the conflict? Or do you just sit back for a second and have a think about what it is that you're going to say? So evaluate. The problem with all of this with emotions is people make irrational decisions and people say things that they shouldn't. And people shoot messages in Messenger. Massive communication tip. Don't say things in Messenger that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. It's something that really gripes me. I don't engage in that conversation anymore. If somebody's got a bit of a gripe in Messenger, I'll just say something like, if you'd like to jump on a Zoom to discuss it, let's have a chat. I don't even engage back in that kind of stuff because I believe in, if you're using Messenger to have a bit of a conflict or a conversation, it's just not the right place for it. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it in Messenger. So that emotional intelligence of dealing with those kind of conflicts and communication, which will come up in a minute, again, is really, really important as a leader. Okay. So number 1, self-awareness. 2, self-management. 3, social awareness. What I mean by that is social awareness of different personality types. People react differently. People get triggered. Some people might be really emotional and you might not be. But it's a different personality trait and you have to deal with people differently depending on their personality trait. So when you're leading a team or, even a family member that has a certain personality type, as a leader, you have to have enough emotional intelligence to deal with people in different ways. Some people will go to water as soon as you say something that might be constructive criticism, but they see it as, oh, I've done something wrong again. Like if there's a certain pattern or a personality trait of an individual, then somebody with emotional intelligence will know how to deal with that person. Does that make sense? So when you have some intelligence around this, you'll be able to deal with different types of personality traits in different ways because you can read their reaction. Okay. Once you get to know how people, are as human beings, especially as you build a team and you get to know people's, personality traits, then you might need to deal with people differently with how you So to deal with them emotionally, how you give criticism, all those kind of things. So having some social awareness, and leaders generally will have empathy for people and build skills in mentoring people to where they want to go instead of telling them off. There is a massive difference as a leader or even as a parent to a child in telling somebody off or mentoring them to a better decision. Do you agree with that, guys? There is nothing comes good of yelling at people and basically telling them they're wrong. How does that feel when you're on the receiving end of that? When somebody has blatantly said to you, that's not acceptable, that's not good enough, you're wrong, that kind of dictating doesn't get anybody anywhere. But if you say things like, I can really understand that you're frustrated with X, Y, Z, but do you think we can make a better choice around this? Like the way you communicate with people, talk to people, manage conflict and situations and criticism will make a massive difference to the outcome. As a leader of a team, you need to have empathy with the team and try to understand what it is they're doing or where they're coming from or what their grievances are or what their upsets are. You need to try to understand people before you can help people. And the last thing you want to do is just yell at people. Same with a parent to a child. Yelling at a child doesn't get a result. It might send somebody to the room and they close the door, but is anybody any happier? No. So learning how to manage people, learning the right words to use, showing empathy to somebody, even in a time of conflict. When you're ready to have a chat about it, let me know. I'd love to explore this conversation further rather than go, no. So, managing a sort of social awareness in people, parents, children, colleagues, team members, what they're going through, having a level of empathy and trying to understand where people are coming from. If you don't agree with something, then ask somebody and say to them, can you just make me understand where you get that thought from? Or where you get that feeling from, or where you get that interpretation from, because that's not the way that I'm seeing it. So I'd really like to understand your point of view. Those kind of things. It's social awareness about how to deal with different people in different circumstances. And the last one, the fourth one, absolutely critical, is in relationship management. So that's an extension of what I was just mentioning before regarding managing people. Getting a result that maybe benefit them, but saying it in a way that is helpful to them, and it's not, openly telling somebody off or criticism. Try these strategies with dealing with children that you have conflict with or friends that you have conflict with. Communication, effective communication and collaboration is absolutely everything when you're dealing with people in any capacity. Building a team in this industry or just dealing with other human beings, whether it's adults, children's, friends, family, whatever, communication and collaboration on things is critical, particularly collaboration in a team environment. Is that to be a good leader of a team, you don't want to dictate to the team. You want to get buy-in from the team. So maybe there's a decision that you need to make, and a better way of handling that would be, what do you think as a team that we should do, rather than saying this is what we're going to do. People don't like being dictated to. When people are party to the decision and you collaborate on things and there's buy-in from everyone to that decision, then it's going to be a better outcome. Does that make sense to you guys? Have you experienced that in the team environment where you've been dictated to, maybe from a boss in a job or a mentor in this industry? Or have you been, have you worked with a mentor that tries to work with you in collaboration? And how much better does that feel? So, relationship management, managing people, communicating with people. If there's any kind of conflict, get on top of the conflict and ask to have a conversation. If the person doesn't want to communicate back, then you can wipe your hands clean. That's their problem, not yours, if they choose to not communicate with you. But you can't be faulted for not trying to resolve a problem through communicating. And don't do it through Messenger. Voice messenger is a little bit better because you can have tonality in your voice, but you really want to resolve any kind of conflicts that you might have as a leader with a team, things like that, this day and age, it might not be in person, but at least on Zoom, where you can see the person, hear the person, hear the emotion of the person, but actually have empathy with the person and, hope to understand what it is that they're going through or what their frustrations are. Your level of emotional intelligence is absolutely critical if you are going to build through this industry and be a leader of a team. You can't buy into the conflict. You can't buy into all the problems that happen, because there's always going to be problems. There'll be problems with people, team members, team members disappearing. It could be product deliveries with COVID. You can't buy into that as a leader of a team. So consider these things now if you're not a leader yet, if you don't have a team yet. Think about the skills that you want to grow for yourself when you do become a leader of a team, and how you want to manage that team, and how you want to guide that team, and how you want to manage people. So emotional intelligence is massive, not only in this industry, but in your life in general, dealing with a husband, a wife, a friend, an ex, children. Do you agree, guys? Where do you see yourself in the scheme of things regarding emotional intelligence? Do you think you're pretty level-headed? Or do you know you get very easily emotionally triggered? If you're very easily emotionally triggered, you got some work to do before you become a leader of a team in this industry, because it's probably not going to work out well if you're, triggered and you're reactive. You don't want to be reactive. You want to sit back, think, breathe, and have some thoughts about how you're going to handle something or how you're going to handle some certain people. But I say again, bring this into your life, your children, your friends, your family, your colleagues. This kind of skill can help you just in life generally, in, not getting into arguments with people and actually having a rational conversation. Make sense, guys? Awesome book. Gloria has pointed out here. After reading the 4 agreements, I don't react as badly. If I had $1 for every time I showed this book. But this, if you've not seen this before, this is what Gloria is talking about, by Don Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements. If you don't know what they are, the 1, be impeccable with your word. I won't go into them. You need to read the book. Second one, don't take anything personally, which most people do. Somebody doesn't respond to you in Messenger, and suddenly you're conjuring up, all these things. And I mean, we were just discussing. We've just been on a 3-hour call with the people, with my VIPs, and we've had conversations about this just today. How somebody else reacts or doesn't react to you is none of your business. You can't control what other people do. If somebody is nasty, if somebody's rude, if somebody, doesn't support you, all that kind of stuff, it's a reflection on them. It's not a reflection on you. So don't take things personally, what other people do. Don't make assumptions. Massive, that one will change your life. Change your life when you stop making assumptions about people or things or something you thought was, an intention or an outcome, and it just wasn't that way at all. Take the time to communicate with people to work out and actually understand what was actually going on, rather than assuming. That one can literally change your life. And the last one, always do your best. Read the book. Heather, it is super important in critical situations as well. You can't react and be emotional when there is a big accident. So Heather works in the healthcare system. That is why a doctor isn't allowed to work on their own family, or the fire captain stands back and evaluates the situation and delegates the order of the jobs that need to be done. Thanks for that input, Heather. That emotional intelligence is critical. So completely understand a doctor not working on their own family because they might make the wrong decision. So we are taught to keep your voice calm and low, and then others will also calm down and be able to hear what you are saying. So important in relation to what you give off, you'll get back. In live videos, I say all the time, smile. Smile when you're first on the live video and say hi. What you project is what you get back. You smile at someone, they're more than likely to smile back. You look angry at someone, they're more likely to be angry back. You yell at someone, you say something nasty in Messenger, guess what you're going to get back? unless the person on the other side has got enough emotional intelligence not to buy into it. Okay. Love this information. Good. Hero. Yes, that is so important to manage your emotions. Definitely agree. Ellen, using those little emojis improperly can affect a person on their posts and can set a person off. So even little things like that, like you don't want to be triggered by things like that, but people can be. Quite correct. When our daughter went to her room and slammed the door, I didn't say anything. I went out and got a screwdriver and took the door off its hinges and took it to the garage. I love that. But I'll give you an example, and I've shared this here before. Some of you may have heard it, but I think it was one of the first times that I really put what I had learned about being a mentor and dealing with people into play with my children. And my boys were in the lounge room. And they were playing rugby, which, two boys, they muck around a lot. They sort of wrestle each other in the lounge room. But what actually happened is, and we normally say to them, not in the lounge room, guys, take it outside or take it into the rumpus room or something like that. But I wasn't in the room at the time. All I heard from the outside was a smash. So I knew whatever they'd done, they'd smashed something. So what had happened is they'd fallen, what they were doing was playing rugby with doonas over their head. So they were wrestling each other, but they couldn't see. Boys, I don't know. But what they did is they leant on a table and the legs broke. So they smashed the table. So I just heard the smash and then everything goes quiet after the smash with kids. So I've walked into the room and I've just looked and I was pissed. Like I was pissed off. It was a good table and I was not happy that they broke it, but I held my cool. I could have easily gone, what the hell are you doing, guys? You know not to wrestle and play rugby in the lounge room. Like, how stupid is that? And now look what you've done. Easy reaction from a parent. So I've just stood there and I've looked at the table and I've looked at them and I said, what did we say about, doing rugby stuff in the lounge room? And they're like, we shouldn't have done it. And I said, do you think that was a wise choice? No. What do you think might have been a better choice? We'll probably go on to the rumpus room. They answered all the questions. I just calmly asked them about the situation and they knew it was wrong and they told me, instead of me going blah, 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 blah and making it wrong, they were already admitting and telling me that it was wrong. And I said, guys, you've already been warned about this. There has to be a consequence to this. So what do you think that should be? And you know what happens every time I do that with my boys? They come up with a consequence that's probably harsher than what I would give them. So no TV for a week or no PlayStation for a week, and they made it up. So they own it. It's not me going, right, that's enough. You've been told 1,000,000 times not to play rugby in the lounge room, and now look what's happened. So you're going to have to pay for that, and there's no PlayStation for a week. Go to your rooms. That's how a lot of parents deal with their situations. So they just go off. Nobody's talking to everybody. There's no, solution and everyone's pissed off with everybody. Not a good outcome. But in that situation where I'm asking them, well, what do you think would have been a better choice? Well, we probably shouldn't have been playing in here. They actually test it out, guys, as parents. It's much better than yelling, okay? Cherie, I'm very level-headed. Good to know. Good skill to have. I'm generally level-headed. I can get triggered, but I'll always sit back and evaluate before responding. That's good. That's awesome, Heather. May need to try that with a 13-year-old emotional team. And that's the trigger. Like, we get triggered by our own kids as well. So not being triggered by that emotion is a test, but you have to do it if you're going to maintain the control. That's a great book. I had a deadbolt and a lock on my door. I also learnt in shop how to stop anyone from removing the hinge bolts. So Gloria was one step ahead. The fifth agreement is also a nice add-on. True. I am an RN and was a supervisor for anesthesia. I had to tolerate a lot of shouting and yelling from others. Yeah, it's a skill. It's an absolute skill. That's great. So it's something that you need to practice because you do get triggered and you can be tend to yell. But when you're dealing with a team, with other adults, and if there's something that you don't like, communicate, and be really level-headed because there's going to be things that team members do that you don't like. There's going to be things that frustrate you about them, but you have to learn to lead a team, and you can't lead a team until you can lead yourself. So are you the kind of person that you want to be as far as emotional intelligence goes? Can you hold it together? Can you not react and just keep your cool? And you say to somebody, you know, do you think that was the best decision, as far as a child sort of goes? It's a skill that you need to practice to, you know, be able to do over and over again. So I would encourage you, I think every single one of us can always build a level of emotional intelligence and how we communicate with people, and trying to understand other people's point of view before you shoot off some criticism or something angry or, you know, something like that. Communication and collaboration when it comes to a team. So just remember those things, okay? And, you know, if anyone's new here to my page, I do go live 5 days a week, you know, at the same time for the most part. But my first video of the week is always something to do with something thought-provoking to do with ourselves, because no skill in the online world is going to help you build an amazing business. That comes down to you. So it's your skill as a human being, it's your emotional intelligence, it's your belief in yourself, it's your belief in becoming wealthy, it's all those things that's actually going to make it help happen. So if you need some growth in this area, I hope this conversation has helped just to raise the level of awareness. And, you know, the best thing you can do from here on is just have a higher level of awareness of yourself in how you react to things that you see and hear, and particularly those of you that have got a team. Okay, so take from that whatever it's worth. I hope it's thought-provoking in some way for you guys. So thank you for listening. Again, those in the video challenge, have fun with it, whether you're starting today or tomorrow. And I will be back in there later today with content for the remaining days. So look out for that. And I will see you guys same time tomorrow. Okay, bye.